Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Director Bowditch, was the agent supervisor at CJIS aware of the other guardian lead from the YouTube comment left by Cruz that he was going to be a professional school shooter?
That's what I do not know, sir. I know there was a dialogue, a presentation made to him by the customer service representative, the call taker. I do not know if she told him about that guardian.
So that call that came in from the neighbor, which was sometime after he had made that post about I'm going to be a professional school shooter, even now, a month after this shooting, we don't know whether the two things were shared between
We do not, because we have different recollections. We know she found it, but I don't recall.
She being
the call taker. She found that guardian. What I don't recall is and I don't think we know, is did she tell him about that guardian? They have two different recollections about what was said, probably because of the volume
of calls
that they're taking every day.
Did the intake specialist at the FBI's public access line at CJIS check to see if any derogatory information about Cruz, such as arrests, convictions, et cetera, existed within NCIC before closing the case?
She did, sir. She did the standard database checks. I know she checked in our Sentinel case management system. She checked our Guardian case management system, and I believe she checked in DIVS, which is essentially an aggregator of many different databases.
So if there had been charges of criminal activity, for example, the allegation that Mr. Cruz threw his mother up against the wall, which many people would say is a crime of domestic violence, which, if it were in a database, would not only be something of concern when she pulls that up, but separately, it also, if he'd been charged and prosecuted, would have gone into the NICS system if the state of Florida were providing all the information that needs to go into the NICS system, and therefore would have come up when he attempted to buy firearms.
Yes, sir. So had there been a domestic violence conviction, that would have been a prohibitor, which would not have allowed him to purchase a firearm.
And what is the FBI doing to ensure that the NICS system contains the most up-to-date, accurate information concerning crimes and their dispositions?
Senator, the Attorney General recently put out guidance and directed federal agencies to ensure we are reaching out, particularly the FBI, reaching out and establishing the best relationships we can with our state and local partners, which are already very strong, but we are asking for them to include their dispositions. That's where we're vulnerable, is a lot of the dispositions of some of these crimes are not being reported to NICS, so they're not going in. So we're doing the best we can we're having a series of meetings, we're messaging it, we'll message it at the IAC, the International Association of Chiefs of Police, and have done this in the past. There's working groups to address it, and we are continuing to go out and message the importance of all those dispositions coming into the NICS system.
The age of Mr. Cruz at the time of this shooting was 19.
Yes, sir.
But some of the earlier events, he would have been under 18.
Yes, sir.
Is there a problem with some state laws not putting into the NICS system acts of violence or mental health commitments that occur to somebody under 18 that really should get in there, and this would be a good example of that?
I don't know the answer, sir. I don't know the state laws on that.
Can you describe the difference between a guardian lead and a criminal complaint? D-71?
Yes, sir. A complaint is a charging document. A guardian lead is when we receive a tip or a lead, and in the past it has been, if it's a counterterrorism lead, we would create what's called a guardian, and that would go out to our field office. Once the field office receives this lead, the investigators get it, and they're under very strict deadlines to address it very quickly. They have certain databases they have to check, and we do random auditing of all those guardian leads to ensure that they were properly reviewed and followed up on.
Thank you. My time's expired.
Time of the gentleman has